All right, I just finished Acts of the Apostles, chapter 7. Chapter 6 left off with Stephen being accused of being blasphemous to God and also saying bad things about Moses as well. He didn't actually do this, but this is just what he got accused of by religious leaders. If you don't know, Moses, basically, he was one of the first people that God worked through. And like back in the Old Testament, Moses helped free. God chose the Israelites as his selected people, and Moses helped free them out of slavery. And then Moses' job is basically bring them to this new promised land that God was going to give them. And God gave the 10 Commandments through Moses. So he told Moses what the 10 Commandments were, how a Christian should live their lives, and it was Moses' job to teach this new group of people how to live out your life as a Christian. So Moses was a big, obviously significant person when it comes to Christianity. So Stephen, he got accused of being blasphemous to God and also saying things about Moses. So the religious leaders are we can't have this guy if he's saying all this bad stuff about our religion, but that wasn't true. They were just mad that he was preaching about Jesus because the Jews still believed in the one God. They still believed in the same thing as Stephen, that there was one God, but their disagreement came where Stephen truly thought Jesus was the Son of God, and these religious leaders thought Jesus was a liar, and thought they were being disrespectful to God the Father. So that's where their disagreement came. And the Jewish leaders just really, they were kind of getting scared. They kind of realized, wait, is Jesus really the Son of God? So then they asked Stephen, is this true? Did you say all this stuff? And he tells this whole story about, Israel's background. And basically he's talking about how just, for years there have been prophets talking about God, talking about the coming of God, the coming of Jesus. And he's just saying, you guys are doing exactly what your ancestors did, he says, name one prophet that your ancestors didn't persecute. So these prophets are sent from God, preaching the truth, what's about to happen, and these people hate the truth because people hate the truth, so they killed the prophets. And now it's he says, I highlighted this one, you deliberately disobeyed God's law, even though you received it from the hands of angels. And that just really hit me, these answers are all right in front of us, God's law is right in front of us, and these people hate the truth. They hate to hear, wait, I'm living the wrong life, I'm doing the wrong thing, I need to change. People don't like to hear that. And later on in this chapter, they actually end up going on to kill Stephen as well, because these people, they don't want to hear that they're wrong, that they don't have all the answers. And that just kind of made me realize, maybe the answers are all right in front of us, so many people don't want to hear the truth, but maybe Jesus is really telling the truth. Another guy was willing to die over Jesus. He was willing, he could have been quiet about Jesus and he would have got to live a long life. But he just kept preaching about Jesus. And he was willing to die over it. Who is willing to die for a lie? If Jesus wasn't truly the Son of God, then why would he die over that? He genuinely thought Jesus was the truth, and all 12 of them did. And they were all willing to die for Jesus. And that just made me realize, Jesus really is the truth. And I realized that was my one takeaway, Jesus really is the truth. My second takeaway, he's saying, all the answers are right in front of us. The prophets are telling the truth. The disciples were talking about Jesus. All these answers are all right out here. We just have to listen. No one's willing to listen. And I really looked at what God preaches. He tells people to love others. I heard a quote from Tim Tebow. He said, he's a national champion. He's a Heisman award winner. He's a first round draft pick. He's all these things. And he said, the most fulfilled he's ever felt in his life is when he serves others. He knows that those people aren't able to serve him back. Just loving others, being kind to others, doing a good deed for others. That fulfills you. like God preaches about, like, cast the anxiety onto him. Like, you don't have to worry. Like, there's a deep sense of peace when you just trust things are going to work out. God talks about being humble, like everything. Like, I live an amazing life. That could all be taken away like that, so you have to be grateful for everything in your life. Like, just waking up, having health is such a blessing. Don't judge. I've realized, like, a huge perspective change for me is, like, I want to judge somebody, but, like, the realization, like, wait, like, I have no idea what's going on in their lives, right? Like, perspective is everything. So you really got to realize, like, most people act a certain way, not because they're a bad person, but because they're going through other things. Another big one is be slow to speak. That kind of pairs up with don't judge. Like, really take in the whole situation, get the context of everything before you speak. Because normally our mind wants to say something that you probably shouldn't. So really think before you speak. I think that's a big thing. And then the last one is repent. I think the realization, like, we're not perfect, and you have to realize that. And you have to realize, like, you don't have to do this whole race called life alone. Like, we're not perfect. We need God to forgive us. We need people in our lives to help us. And I really just wrote, Jesus will, like, really change your trajectory of life. Like, I feel like I found true purpose comes from him and these principles that he lays out. But sometimes when we feel lost in life, we're like, what do we do? But, like, the answers are right in front of us. So get in your word, pray to God. I mean, the creator of life, the creator of you, he probably knows how to get through life successfully. So I'd highly recommend talking to him.